Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Story number 1. Human Ships, written by Roaring Beard Dragon. Grandok swilled his optical organs to target the vessel in front of him. The slight noise of chitin grinding on chitin emitted as he did so. The ship in question was the Forge Father. The Forge Father was a human mining ship with built-in refineries to process gathered ore. Grandok had always found human ships strange. It was not that they were elegant or styled, or that they had too much. Rather, they had both style and elegance, while remaining totally practical with little exterior decoration. The ship in particular had no exterior decoration whatsoever. The Forge Father was a huge titanium rectangle, with huge mouth of tractor beam drills and mining lasers on the front. Human ships were some of the few in the galaxy with front and back, and a large array of thrusters and other propulsion devices on the back. On all other faces of the vehicle were various doors, hatches, and ramps for entering and exiting the craft, and I was about to enter. I was guided in by a human female with brown fur and skin. They spoke to me before we entered. "Hello, Inspector. My name is Sasha, and I'm here to take you to our captain." "So be it, human. Let us enter," I reluctantly said. Redaxians are capable of speaking most human tongues, so I do not need a translator. Besides, this felt more natural. My legs clinked on the metal floor of the airlock through which we entered, as I attached the breathing aids necessary to survive in human-safe oxygen. With a faint hiss, the airlock finished its work, and we were released into the bare metal corridor with a ramp at the opposite end. Once we climbed the ramp, I was taken through several similar corridors to the bridge. "Greetings, Inspector," the human male spoke as I entered. He had hair of a similar color to Sol, the star of the human home system, and his skin was pink, though, to me and all other Vodoxians, it was the color of our home star, red. "Greetings, human. My name is Grandok. Today I shall carry out my duty and survey your ship, as is custom for a stay for 3 human souls or greater." I drawled professionally. "Please give me a tour." "Well," the human captain replied, "my name is Andrew, and first of all, this is a bridge, a center point where the majority controls are located." "Yes, I know that," I hissed. "On to the next room." Throughout my inspection, I became increasingly worried. It appeared human ships were most definitely not designed for safety above all else, like the ships of every other species. But that couldn't be correct, right? In the end, I expressed many doubts, not truly expecting a reply. But the reply simply made me worried. "Human, that's not a reactor. That's just a cleverly disguised bomb leaking power." "Oh yes, that's just a nuclear fission reactor. Don't worry about it." "But that's nothing like a fission reactor. It doesn't have the safety beams." "And human, you mean to say that these toxins and bioweapons are your food?" Yeah. Those are coffee and chili powder." Roughly 1 rucksack later, I finished my inspection, after which I was taken to the bridge and asked my verdict. Though I allowed their stay, as they technically hadn't broken any rules, I immediately sent a message to Station Command asking for 1, me to never ever inspect a human ship again, and 2, for all humans to be placed in separate hangar to other species to avoid our imminent death. End of story. Story number 2. The Cold of the Void, written by Echoing Cascade. Deathworlder. The word strikes fear into all who hear it. When humanity was discovered, almost every military in the known galaxy wanted them for their ground troops, and those who didn't started working on countermeasures. Captain Cirque was a Corsair, a legal pirate for his race, Tharis. The Terrans were the go-to mercenaries in most armed conflicts. They had, through extensive genetic manipulation, the ability to adapt to nearly any environment. Yet, the average human was sturdier, faster, and all-round a better soldier than Theris could ever hope to be, to the point that an augmented human warrior was the equivalent of a light tank. He had been given the unenviable task to bring a live sample for study. The Tharas were not the first to try this. A gobble species had tried to kidnap humans with violent and messy results. They tried to capture them in groups or drug single individuals, mused Corsia, captain. Bad idea. They seem to forget why they are trying to get the subject, but I figured something they didn't. You don't actually need an adult. Siak had come up with a simple and ingenious plan. Find a small vessel loaded with human hatchlings with no more than 1 or 2 adults. Tractor said vessel inside the cruiser's cargo hold and use the hatchlings as leverage to keep the adults in check until he can bring them all back to the testing facility. I can even kill the adults if things get out of hand. Foolproof. That had been his thinking 2 hours ago. Now he was hearing the screams of his crew on every channel through his communicator. What in the 5 hells is going on? There were no life signs other than the ones through the humans, and they were all here with me. He looked at the adult human female, who had been reassuring the hatchlings since their capture. What's going on? Who is doing this? The look she gave him made it pause. She looked at him with pity. Lady teacher, they don't know remorse or mercy, but I pray they kill you quick. He knew there was something he missed and something changed. Something horrible had happened. The screams had stopped. If I can make it to the escape pod, I may have a chance. He thought of taking one of the crying hatchlings with him, but something told him that it would not be wise. As he left the human vessel, he was met with total darkness inside the cargo hold. He thought of using his portable light, and then he felt something squishy at the front. Something familiar. Something that should be alive. I can make my way to the escape pods in total darkness. The ship has been my home for many, many rotations. With some luck, whatever did this can't see in the dark. That's a bet that you would lose. The voice came from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. Siak froze. He hadn't said a word. The only reason that you still in one piece is the fact that you didn't take a kid with you. What do you want? Go to your ship's bridge and release our vessel back to space unharmed. How would you get it back if you're not inside your vessel? The creature in the darkness responded with an audible smile. I am inside the ship. Siak made slow progress to the bridge. He wouldn't dare to turn on the lights, even after he almost slipped on what could only be the blood of his men. He could feel something huge move around him, something larger than what the room he was in should be able to contain. It would take a while to get the bridge in these conditions, and eventually fear made place to curiosity. What are you? We have had many names, imaginary friends, recurring dreams, guardian angels. Siak felt hot breath by his side. He slowly turned, unable to breathe or close his eyes. He didn't see the thing per se, only saw 2 red eyes, larger than he was tall, and row after row of fangs, aligned to form a cruel smile. Bits and pieces of his crew still stuck here and there, but we prefer nightmares. Siak couldn't look away. It took everything he had to keep from fainting, and his next words nearly cost him a heart attack. That's can't real. The creature closed its eyes and seemingly disappeared. Siak could breathe again and fell down. He promptly vomited the contents of his stomach. We didn't always take form like this. Back when humans were religious, fearful, and ignorant, did we manage to take shape here and there. Not everyone who walked in the dark made it back alive. Siak could feel the creature smile. He was trying to get up, but his legs refused. The creature sighed. Then they got into science. The fear diminished, and with that our power waned. Siak felt a hand the size of a shuttle gently grip him and lift him to his feet. But one day they made it to the stars, and the endless void brought back fear. A fear that was born long ago, when the first primate mistook a shadow for a predator out to kill it. The fear of the dark. Siak began to walk again. He could barely hear the creature over his own heart pounding in his chest. We could take form again. We prepared to feast of human flesh. And yet, Siak had made it to the stairs that would bring him to the bridge. He heard a large amount of what he didn't want to identify be shuffled out of his way. We didn't want to return to being nothing more than ideas after we had our fill. So we struck a bargain. We each protect a child until they come of age, and they don't try and find a way to get rid of us. Siak was now in front of the bridge door. It opened automatically, and the lights turned on. To his shock and relief, it was immaculate, as ever. We still get our full, but just not human meat. Siak shuddered and started the procedure to free the human vessel, and then he stopped. Will you let me live if I do this? Of course, I won't lay a finger on you. Siak had no real choice, and he let the ship out of his cargo bay. He didn't hear so much as felt goodbye from the creature. He sighed and prepared a course for Theris territory. But then the lights went off. The last thought that went through his head before fangs, claws, hands, and tentacles tore the flesh off his bones was, he said they each protect a hatchling, and the ship had 6 of them. End of story. This is a special thank you to the one, the only, the legendary Eric Hino, who has become the only Tier 6 patron. I just want to thank the T5 patrons and channel members. Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnolds, Australia the Dreamer, Trygan95, Hudic Yol, Meridian117, Elythia, Jordan Bucksbaum, Angry Marine, Albarden Guster, and Barkey. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.